Hello guys, and welcome to another Elliott Waves on Cryptos. It's been a couple of weeks, if not mistaken, since the last video, and today we're going to have a quick look again on BTC. And it's been a while since we have actually I gave the opportunity for people to vote for DENT, and the moment I do, again, it's actually won the vote. So we're going to go ahead and have a quick look on DENT. Before we go ahead, let's not forget, guys, that none of this constitutes investment advice. It's education and to help you make informed decisions. You can always join my Discord channel. There's a free version and a paid version. You can find all the information down below on the caption, and you will be of course provided with videos and other sort of insights on a daily basis, depending on the choice you make. So let's have a quick look on BTC first and see what we can expect, and the variations also in the short term mainly, and on DENT. Okay guys, as you well know, this has been my main for a while. This is supercycle 3, and I'm expecting supercycle 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 is one of the ideas. Supposedly, because we have a correction here, the second finished, we're going to go down for 3, 4 and 5 for wave A, then we're going to get B, and then we're going to get C. Now I've been saying for a while that I prefer to see wave A ending not far from where we currently are, and one of those levels could be, I would say, around 15. So if we're going to get around 15, guys, and if we end it around at 2, you see that, if that extends as an impulse to the downside, then it's not likely to be the case. And I will tell you why I would prefer that not to be the case. So perhaps we're going to get this turning into some sort of ending diagonal here to end wave 5, and ending with an ending diagonal is also going to increase conviction that the low for now is in. Then we're going to get wave B and then wave C. Obviously, wave C has to go below 15. That's why I prefer that we don't go much lower than 50k at the next low, if that makes sense. Now, if we do, then this would probably mean that we have a different structure over here. Maybe it's going to be the W, X, and Y or something else. I'm going to show you quickly the variations and the alternative scenarios, and then we're going to jump into the short term. So I repeat, we expect wave A to finish. We prefer ending diagonal, then get wave B, and then get wave C. Okay, and from there, start the next massive bull run. So let me quickly go to where this is the primary 4 variation, guys. This is one of the scenarios where supposedly the primary wave 4 in wave A is not finished yet. Okay, and that assumes that this is a wave A, okay, and we'll have an ABC, as you can see. This is another sort of an ABC here, although kinda it just doesn't look too pretty, because if this is A and this is B, this would be a C for a flat ending here. But still, what we could see is this turning into flat, right? So it would be then an ending diagonal. We'll get wave B, and then we'll get wave C. Okay, so let me just draw it here for you. It would be a wave for A, which we see here, yeah, then A, B, and C for wave B. Okay, so wave B would also be an expanded flat, and it will have to go below here because the wave C of the flat will be an ending diagonal, so we'll have to go below that low, and irregular case as well. And then we would have to see a 5-wave move to the upside, and depending on the length of the first 5 waves, I suspect, we're gonna have a bit more of a clear idea of whether it's going to be running flat or an expanded flat. We would need just a 62 correction for running flat. So this is one of the sort of alternative variations here, let's say. Another one is for the 5th wave hold on, why is this pretty much the same as yeah, this is very similar to the main, but well, actually it is the one I talked about. It's like, you know, the sort of ending diagonal, that would be a wave ABC if that would be the case. But also I'm more keen for this to be an B and a C for wave 1, if that makes sense. You know, wave 1, because you've got an ABC here. And then we're looking at the cycle variation, which looks at the 5th wave having been done here, and with that being a bit shorter here than the one we thought it originally. That would be then wave A, and we'll be getting a wave B here for a flat. Okay, as you can see, wave A here is an impulse to the upside. Okay, and it has nothing to do with sort of flat, but that could still be the case, of course. It's just that I'm presenting a different variation in wave B here, okay, versus in wave 4. Both in wave 4 and wave B could be the same. It's just I'm looking at this as an ABC because we are supposedly in a higher degree move, okay, and you can still get a flat. It's just that you know, if you compare the primary degree here and the primary degree here, you know, kind of matches, you know, sort of, you know, as an ABC. But the truth is that there is kind of a risk here of breaking below that level, which would then, you know, make this an ABC again, and we'll see this being a flat and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the one I showed you before, right? So this is just a different variation in wave B or in wave 4. You can use both, and of course then we'll have the W zigzag, okay, the double zigzag, which is a W, X, and Y, and that would probably suggest if this is A and B, that this is going to be a C in wave Y, and equally just present in a different case here. It could be an anti-diagonal in wave C, or we can easily get 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and 5 as an impulse. And finally, well, the end of wave 4 down here. This is an impulse to the upside. We're seeing a very deep correction, and we're going to continue higher. That means we're not going to go below 1758, and well, gonna have to break above at least 23 to start considering this as a valid case. And another one, ABC, finished down here. This is 1 and 2, and we move up. This is a case of potential leading diagonal. But guys, I repeat, okay, the leading diagonal here, the flat here, or the ABC, all of these patterns can really be the case here, okay, but we favor a main over other scenarios for different reasons. Now let me show you the short term on BTC, and this is kind of my main scenario, but I am also between, you know, these two, and I will tell you why, though I'm showing you that first. I'm showing you this one first, and we're mainly looking at the wave 4 and down. I'm showing you this one first, guys, because of the structure over here from the top down here. But let me just go from the beginning. So we'll have wave 1 here, and wave 2, and then wave 3, wave 4 triangle, and wave 5. The first wave is the extended one, okay, and we'll have a triangle in the 4th. Now over here, supposedly we'll have an ABC, okay, so this is wave A, because it can only be an ABC since we broke below, right? But it can be a case where this ABC finished or not. I don't think it's finished, and I will tell you why. Because this is more of a case of an ABC rather than of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I will tell you why. I personally think it's because, guys, when we get a leading diagonal, because this is a leading diagonal, okay, with such a huge wave 1, okay, and then very small 3, 4, and 5, you expect this leading diagonal to have a lot of inertia, like a lot of sort of strength coming down, which means we would expect that as a third wave to go to at least the 100%, right? At least. Then you might also say, well, what if this is 1 and 2, and this is 1 and 2, and this is a valid case, and we're going to see that in a minute. But because of how the current structure that we have already printed, okay, not what could happen, what it's happened already, okay, I'm looking at this as another ABC for a W, okay, and I'm looking here at an A and a triangle and a wave C for X, wave Y for B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C, and then further continuation to the downside. Maybe it sounded a bit confusing, but I will tell you now, and things are going to be very simple. We have wave 1 coming down, and this is A, and this is B. Yeah, and we're going to get C in wave 2, and very likely to be a running flat and then go lower down. Now, in here, in this wave B, we have a W, X, and Y, right? And currently, we finished wave W, and we also finished wave A, okay, of this leg. So we are now in triangle wave B, and we expect to see wave C. I am not particularly keen to see this wave B ending like this, because it's supposed to be a running triangle, by the way. This is wave A and this is wave B. So A, B, look. Oops, excuse me. Just to make it a bit more clear, right? So you got A, and then you got A, B, C. For A, hold on, actually, A, B, C, guys. No, I think you're gonna have to excuse that. I didn't think of it, because if this A, then they're gonna have to have A down here. So yeah, it has to be here. So this is A. So you got A, B, C, D, and E. Yeah. So there is pretty much two cases. One is we're gonna see a straight wave X as a triangle, which means A, B, C, D, E, and then we're gonna go down. So our X wave is going to be the triangle, and then we're going to get Y and then go up in C. Or this is a, well, it would be an ABC, so it has to be a zigzag like W. You will have A, B, C, D, E for X, and then A, B, C for Y. So yeah, I should have noticed this. Anyway, this would be W, A, B, C, D, E for X and Y. And that would be this. So we would expect A, B, C, D, E here to end, maybe ended already. And from there, an A, B, C up in X and then down and then up and then down. Okay. Now, over here though, in wave X, guys, we can also see this as an ABC. Okay, and this would be another ABC, and this could be an 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5, and our wave X, instead of a W, X, and Y with a triangle in X, maybe it's going to be a flat, okay, because we have an irregular wave here. But in this case, this flat, it would be more likely to have an ending diagonal in wave C. That would be 1, and then 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, rather than anything else, because that looks like an ABC more than it does as 1, 2, 3. Okay, and plus you have this A and B already, so you know, so it's one or the other in here, right? So in the short term, this is sort of the idea here, guys. A breakout of the range to the upside, then another break to the downside, but only a false one, and then go all the way up, probably to retest the channel, have a running flat, and from there continue lower. Okay, that's the idea. Now, the other idea is guys, is that wave 2 finished up here, as I said before. And in this particular case, we have 1 and 2, again as a leading diagonal, and this is 3. You're going to get A, B, C, D, and E, and then down in 5. And from there, we'll go in wave 2 and then go lower down. So any way you look at it, we're either going to do up, down, and then down like this, or we're going to do down, up, and then down. So we're going to miss the first up. You understand? That's what it looks like to me. Unless, if of course, because this, as we said before, can be a flat, this is going to be 1 and 2 indeed, and that is going to support the case of a leading diagonal. This is going to be 1, and we're going to get something like an ABC for 2, and then we'll go down for 3, 4, and 5, and that's going to be 3, and then 4, and then 5. So that's going to be 1, 2, and 1, 2. Okay, let me show you them. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, then 4 and 5. Okay, so if each of them sort of have different targets, I would say, in the longer term. But the one thing that we do care always about, guys, is the 50s. Okay, and I'm going to go all the way down here. Why not? So we did a pullback up to 38. Okay, and now we are below 23. Breaking 38 leads us to 50 and then to 62, and from there we'll look for shorts or something, right? So idea, I'm just saying, W, X, Y, perhaps down here, and I will tell you where, and then all the way up to here and then fall. Look, we can literally go down to 1710 and that will still be an irregular wave B. Okay, over here. So yeah, look at W and X, and if the assumption is correct, then we'll go to 50. Actually, I will make another assumption. I will look at the W and the X and do the 100 or the 61. Actually, the 50 is a cluster, so it's okay. And from there we'll go down to, well, the 17, so becomes a level. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I don't want to get too much into assumptions and all that stuff here, guys, but the main idea is this, that, you know, we are consolidating. We are very likely going to see one more false breakdown and then further continuation to the upside, a decent pullback, and then fall lower down. Now, of course, it would be also the case that if the wave 2 is not done, you know, if we're going to expect like upside here for a running flat, we might as well just see an expanded flat. Okay, that would of course be a complete different scenario. And as I said before, that can also be 1, and we might get 2, then 3, 4, and 5 for an ending diagonal, which I would prefer, as I said before, so that we can end the wave A here much closer to the previous low rather than much further from it. Okay, to support our case. Now on DENT, look at this. I don't even remember what we've left last time, but there is different cases here, of course, you know, as well as with any case. We just look at probabilities here. Cycle wave 1 seems to be a done case, right? If that's then the case, then we have to measure here. Oh, sorry. We have to, you know, if we're expecting supposedly wave 2, you know, wave 2 is usually deep in cryptos. So we're very close to 62, is very likely to be done, and then below that, guys, we'll go to 0.0002 once we break below wave 1, because wave 1, it's a strong level usually. That is just a bit off the 61.8. Okay, now actually let me just leave it there. W and X, you see this? This, guys, is called a cluster. Okay, the 100 Fibo extension and the 62 Fibonacci retracement, and down below then you got again the 0.0002, which is the 79, and then the 0.9, which is pretty much these clusters. This structure looks decent if you follow. So look, we didn't do the 100 here. It's not necessarily a case that we'll have to do it, but we do seem to have another leg down anyway. Okay, so we do have an ABC, and we'll have an X for an ABC here, and then I'm looking for another AB and an extended C compared with the A and the B, because we have a leading diagonal here. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, E might have already finished, and then we're gonna see another leg to the downside from there all the way up. Okay, now the basic assumption is if A is and B is here, that's not going to give us much, maybe a cluster in the further like levels. Look, 0.0003 for example, but I'm not going to focus there. I'm going to focus on two different things. One is the 1, 4, and assuming the 4 is in at 11.22, that brings us down to 0.00026. Okay, and another one would be the measured move, and there is different ways to do that. It's the 100, so 0.00044, it's the level, which is the 38.2 as well, right? There is a different way to do this. starting from where the triangle starts, the biggest level, the lowest, and where we have the breakout supposedly. That's the 100. Again, brings us around the 4 or something. Okay, so you can understand how, you know, I'm expecting downside, further downside here, right? Another thing to do is to connect the channel, but as you can see, you know, we're not really gonna get there. It looks like we've kind of stayed below that, above that, sorry, and it's very likely that we're not gonna go. Maybe we're gonna test it at some point, but the moment we test it, it will probably be a case where we're gonna start considering to, you know, to go long. But yeah, unfortunately, I see more downside if you are hoping for something else. Another thing, no, perhaps we can do the 0.2 here. That helps a bit more. Look at this. So we stopped our wave 4 right at the median rejection here of this base channel, and the third one came out, okay, and the fourth one came back in. So we're gonna see another one down, and that's gonna be it. Maybe it's gonna stop around, you know, the base over here. Now there's different variations in here, guys, but there's also different variations from the full leg of the top. Look, there is 2 things I'm looking. One is that we can imagine this as an A with a very extended wave B here as a flat, and then we can assume that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for wave 1 as a leading diagonal, 2, 3, and the same 4 and the 5. But because we're looking at the leading diagonal, all of this thing, you see that from all the way up here, you know, it also brings on the plan a potential move as, you know, this being wave 1, so this 1, 2, 1, 2, and that would be something like a flat, and this is 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5, 4, 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, that is the most bearish case, guys, and I will just show you again. Is that assume that wave 3 would be here, and internally you would have 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5. Okay, that's the assumption. Now regardless, we are also considering this as wave 1 and this as wave 2, and that could be 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 5. That's why I have this red over here, the yellow one. Okay, and that would just be a simple correction, or perhaps maybe it's going to turn into a new triangle here, so which means we've got the A and the B, we need C, D and E, so we might stay here for a while, but then again we go down. So any scenario that you're going to look at, the ones at least I'm looking that have high probability or higher probability than others, all of them look at more downside. That is, of course, unless we move above 1132. Okay, because that would suggest 2 things. There is no triangle, which means it's very likely to continue higher towards the 14, or there might be a flat, okay, with an extended wave C or something. Okay, because look, any way you look at it, you have done the 79, okay, but any of the scenarios look for more downside anyway, so maybe we're going to stop here and we're going to see something like this, and then we'll fall down. Okay, so any of them though look at the same thing. Now there is something important to mention here, guys. As long as we're downside outside or the bottom side of this sort of channel, this is not bullish. Okay, and the other thing we can do as well is the channel I drew previously. You know, if this is 1 and 2, let's say even worst case, look, as long as we are below this channel, there's no way that this is just gonna change. Okay, so yeah, apart from that, now we also need to mention, go back to the main actually, and mention this. You have had a correction supposedly here up to the 50%. Now, according to the alternation, that should also do like the 50 or so. So maybe, you know, that's not going to be, as I said before, it's not going to be a triangle. Maybe this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for 3. And that is ABC for X and ABC for W. For W and X, sorry. And then we're going to see Y. We're going to go up here. So we are assuming now, due to the consolidating sort of tightness of this pattern, that we have a triangle. Okay, but it could really be anything. The main point though is to remember that we are correcting right now, which means one more leg down at least, it's very likely to come. So that's all. Hope you enjoyed. Take care, and we will speak again soon.